The Super Bowl, the biggest sporting event in the US. The Super Bowls in the last 2 decades have differed. There have been amazing games, like Super Bowl 43, and some horrible games, like Super Bowl 53. There also has been a lot of upsets, and today we will talk about the 5 biggest Super Bowl upsets in the last 20 years. Number 5, Super Bowl 50, Panthers vs. Broncos. The Panthers came into this game with only one loss. They were clearly the best team in the NFL, and they were led by league MVP Cam Newton. They cruised through the playoffs, beating Seattle in the divisional round, then crushing Arizona in the conference championship. The Broncos came into this game with 4 losses. They survived the playoffs by beating the Steelers in the divisional round, then beating Tom Brady and the Patriots in the conference championship. Peyton Manning was playing his final game in the NFL, but most people expected him to go out with a Super Bowl loss. Going into the game, the Panthers were favored by 4 points, but the Broncos' defense and Super Bowl MVP Von Miller shut down Cam Newton in that high-powered offense. The Broncos won that game 24-10, shocking most people. Number 4, Super Bowl 52, Eagles vs. Patriots. Tom Brady vs. Nick Foles. Because the Eagles didn't have their MVP candidate QB in Carson Wentz due to a torn ACL, they had to rely on Nick Foles. Foles filled Wentz's role and led Philly to the Super Bowl after beating Atlanta in the divisional round and then crushing the Vikings in the conference championship. The Patriots also were amazing. Tom Brady put together another MVP year. They cruised past the young Tennessee Titans in the divisional round, then beat the Jaguars in the conference championship. Going into the game, the Patriots were favored by 4 points. In the game, Tom Brady threw for over 500 yards, breaking a Super Bowl record. Danny Amendola had 152 yards, Chris Hogan had 128 yards and a touchdown, and Rob Gronkowski had a pair of touchdowns. So why did they not win? It's because Nick Foles played even better than Brady. Throwing 3 touchdowns and catching another, Foles led Eagles to their first ever Super Bowl win by beating the Patriots in a nail-biter 41-33. Number 3, Super Bowl 47, Ravens vs. 49ers. The Harbaugh Bowl. John Harbaugh's Ravens vs. Jim Harbaugh's 49ers. After Colin Kaepernick replaced Alex Smith mid-season, the 49ers were on fire, finishing with the 11-4-1 record. They carried their momentum through the postseason by first beating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, then beating Matt Ryan and the Falcons. The Ravens, on the other hand, did not have an easy path to get here. They finished 10-6, which was good enough to win them the AFC North. They handled the Colts in the first round with ease, then went up to Denver to play the Broncos. The Ravens came out of that game winners thanks to Jacoby Jones' last-second touchdown and Justin Tucker's game-winning field goal. Then, the Ravens went up to Foxborough to play Tom Brady and the Patriots, which they won by a score of 28-13. Going into the Super Bowl, the 49ers were favored by 4.5 points. The Ravens came into the game on fire. Joe Flacco had 3 first-half touchdowns, and the Ravens' experienced defense was containing the 49ers' potent offense. The second half started off with a Jacoby Jones 100-plus yard kickoff return for the touchdown. The Ravens were up by 20-plus points and were able to keep their lead and win the game, unlike some other team. Anyways, Kaepernick tried to make a late comeback but fell short after he threw an incompletion in the end zone on 4th down to Michael Crabtree when down by just 5 points. The Ravens won the game 34-31. Number 2, Super Bowl 36, Patriots vs. Rams. No, not that Patriots vs. Rams Super Bowl. This one. The Rams in the late 90s and early 2000s were a powerhouse. Led by quarterback Kurt Warner and that high-powered Rams offense, they crushed their opponents and finished the regular season with a record of 14-2. They beat both the Packers and the Eagles to reach to the Super Bowl. The Patriots were clearly the inferior team. They were missing their starting quarterback Drew Bledsoe after an injury in week 2, so some kid named Tom Brady had to take over. Well, it turned out that Brady was pretty good. After Brady took over, he had a record of 11-3 as a starter, and the Patriots finished with an overall record of 11-5. The Patriots were lucky enough to get a first-round bye. They faced the Raiders in the divisional round, and they beat them only because of the tuck rule. Then, they went into Pittsburgh and shocked the Steelers. Going into the game, the Rams were favored by 14 points, 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. In the game, the Patriots jumped out to a 17-3 lead in the fourth quarter, but then the Rams came back and tied the game 17-17 after Kurt Warner threw a game-tying touchdown pass to Ricky Proehl. The Patriots had the ball with 1 minute on the clock. Then, Tom Brady did what Tom Brady does. Adam Vinatieri did what Adam Vinatieri does. And the Patriots won 20-17, shocking the world. Number 1, Super Bowl 42, Giants vs. Patriots. Part 1 of Brady vs. Eli Manning in the Super Bowl. The Patriots came into this game with a perfect record. Tom Brady tossed 50 touchdowns and won league MVP. Randy Moss and Wes Welker were both vital to Brady's success. The defense was also great, led by Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel, Asante Samuel, and Vince Wilfork. They were the perfect team. The Giants were also a good team, but nothing compared to the Patriots. They finished the regular season with a 10-6 record, and they went on to beat the Buccaneers, Cowboys, and Packers on the road in the playoffs due to good performances by Eli Manning, the Giants' run game, and the Giants' defense. Going into the game, the Patriots were favored by 12 points, but there is much more on the line. Not just a Super Bowl win, but a perfect record was on the line. They could be the first team to go 19-0. Brady could establish his performance this season as the greatest ever. Welker, Moss, and more players could get their first Super Bowl win. The Giants started the game with a long drive and finished it with a field goal. The Patriots answered with a touchdown by running back Lawrence Maroney. The game from that point until the fourth quarter was filled with sacks, punts, and some turnovers. Then, in the fourth quarter, Eli Manning hit wide receiver David Tyree for a touchdown, putting the Giants up 10-7. A few drives later, the Patriots answered with a touchdown from Brady to Moss. 2 minutes left in the game, the Giants had to answer, or the Patriots will hoist that Lombardi trophy and that perfect record. On 3rd and 5, Eli Manning escaped out of multiple sacks, and he heaved it down the field to David Tyree, who held the ball on his helmet. That is a historic helmet catch, the greatest play in Super Bowl history. A few plays later, Manning hit Plaxico Burress for a touchdown, putting the Giants up 17-14. The Giants won that game, making the undefeated team defeated. That was the greatest upset in Super Bowl history. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more sports content, and I'll see you guys later.